Welcome back to IGN Comic-Con. This is 2016 San Diego. This is awesome. I'm Brian Altano. I'm with LeeAnna and Ainsley.
Yeah.
What are you guys dressed as today?
We are Shadow Troopers based on episode 7, so it's kind of a little mashup going on right here.
Huh, Star Wars. A group of films I've never heard of before. No, I'm a gigantic Star Wars fan, so I immediately geeked out.
So we can be friends now.
Yeah.
To establish we can be friends.
Yes, nice to meet you guys. So what's it like wearing a costume that basically hasn't even been revealed in a movie yet? You don't even get to look at the film and be like, I know how that works.
Well, we've done armor before, so it's kind of the same process. This is just the black version. But we did kind of make the fatal mistake of choosing black. And San Diego decided to be ridiculously hot this weekend.
We got a
so
heat
we're
wave.
suffering. We're suffering a little bit.
I noticed a lot of that movie is troopers running around on beaches and there's palm trees, so I think they're going to have to deal with the same kind of problems.
Yeah, and sand. So we don't have it that bad. We don't have sand.
So,
to deal with.
not yet.
Not yet.
I feel like Comic-Con next year, they're going to be like, we added sand.
It's on the beach.
We made it harder.
Have fun.
That actually doesn't sound that bad. No, well, for
no.
me, it's okay.
Yeah,
I'll
for
just,
you, with
I'll
this.
just wear a t-shirt.
Yeah.
So how does a costume like this come together?
Essentially, we get our friend Kevin, KW Designs, molds and sculpts it, and you get a bunch of plastic pieces. So it's white plastic, and you have to essentially build it to fit your body. So it's a standard size, and it fits people from like 5'5" to 5'9", which I am.
Right.
So you get a box of plastic, and then you have to make it fit you. And it's
How
fun.
do
It's
you
like
do
Legos.
that? Do you just wear it in the shower and run around until it stretches out?
Well,
I mean, we don't.
cutting, shaving.
We don't tell people
bending.
that.
Oh.
We don't tell people that. But sometimes.
Cosplay secrets revealed.
You just put it on in your house and walk around in it because it feels really cool.
Well, I think that's how like people used to buy like fitted caps and then just wear it for like a week, and it was
Yeah,
like,
you gotta
well,
break it in.
my head works in it
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So you
Sorry,
guys
it's
excited
windy.
for Rogue One?
I am very excited. I actually didn't make it to Star Wars Celebration last weekend, which I'm a little bummed about.
Me too.
But I got to see everything on the internet, so it was kind of the same, but not really.
Yeah, I went to Star Wars Celebration last year, and it was honestly one of my favorite shows
The
I've ever
Anaheim
worked.
one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Were you there?
We were there.
Were you dressed up?
What did we do? We did the white version. Didn't we do the white?
I
No.
don't have a white one.
No, just kidding. I
Just
did the white
kidding.
version of
She
mine.
did.
Got it.
Yeah.
I probably did this.
Have you ever thought about doing like a multi-person costume, like a Jabba the Hutt?
That actually, someone was saying something about Jabba the Hutt, and I was like, how can we make that work and it not be weird? But multi-person.
Yeah.
Who gets to be the head and the tail? I guess you fight for it.
Well,
I don't know.
in the film specifically, I've read about like a lot of like the making of Return of the Jedi stuff. I love that whole scene specifically. There's like 6 people in that costume, and like one of
That's
them's doing
amazing.
one arm, and then the other, and then his mouth and stuff like that.
I don't know if I can find, like, I know she'd be down to do whatever,
Oh,
but I don't
yeah.
know if we could find like 4 other people that are like, we're
Yeah.
gonna jump in a giant hot suit with you. That's like extreme friendship right there.
We're gonna be in this big green frog bag thing
Yeah.
and just walk around
It's
Comic-Con.
gonna be awesome.
You would need a bunch of like oscillating fans in there.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
AC built in.
So do you guys buy a lot of toys and stuff when you come to Comic-Con? Or have you gotten to the point where you're like, I'm at my capacity for collectibles?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I look at everything, but I do a lot of conventions, like a lot. So for me, this is like, cons are like my home away from home. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll just see it next weekend. It'll be fine. I'll come, I'll look at it, I'll hold it, and then I'll put it back on the shelf. I have no more room in my house for much, so.
I've been describing Comic-Con in the same way. It's kind of like a nerd museum where I
Right.
come and I look at all the art and I don't buy anything and then I leave.
Yeah.
And it's nice. It's liberating.
And that's the smart way to do it, because if not, then you're a hoarder.
yeah.
Yeah.
A nerd hoarder.
Yeah.
Which is like terrifying. A lot of people,
Right.
you end up in this situation, you're like, I have a wall of Funko Pops. How did that
Well,
happen?
her dad, tell him about your dad. They have a really
My
cool.
dad at our house is just Star Wars out.
Really?
We have like 2
They
different
have a
rooms.
museum. They
yeah.
have like a Star Wars museum.
My
in their
friends
house.
come in, they're like, does your dad sell this stuff? Because it's like on shelves and in
It's
order
actually really
numbered.
beautiful.
Really?
It's really
oh,
beautiful.
you're so lucky. My dad just liked baseball growing up. I'm
No.
like, this sucks.
So then we like when my husband and I, when we have like, we're like, oh, we really need to go get some stuff.
Yep.
We just go to their house and we're like, good, we got
you're-
our fix.
Yeah.
I got it. I got it inside me.
Yeah.
I'm good to go. So do you guys? You work lots of conventions, obviously. Did you try to do a different costume at each one?
I wouldn't say a different one in each one. We will alternate and do certain ones and kind of put them on the shelf for a little bit and bring it back out. But my house is like full of stuff and costumes. It's like there comes a point where like it's time to slow down, or you make a new one and get rid of an old one.
Yeah, so how does that work? Do
Yeah.
you just have like large walk-in closets full of different body parts and prosthetics?
A garage.
Garage. All of
Garage.
the closets. All
And
of
all
them.
of
Really?
the closet.
Does it look like Jim Henson's workshop or something in there?
Probably not as organized as that would look.
I like how you describe that as organized. There's like monster puppets everywhere on that.
But I'm sure they're like on shelves and like
Yeah.
nice
Yeah.
places. I have like buckets stacked with stuff in them, and yeah.
Yeah, he probably had his Muppets like alphabetized at
Right.
least, right?
On like little mannequins, so they're cute and standing up.
Or scary if you
Or
go in there at
scary,
night
yeah.
after a few drinks.
Which is amazing.
So how long does it take to get a costume together from start to finish in general? I know that ranges tremendously.
I think these we did in. Well, her dad helped us with painting and assembling a lot of it because I was traveling a ton.
Yeah.
So I think you could ideally do it in about a week's worth of time, but you'd have to commit like 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm a really big fan of is this sort of like low budget cosplay, like stuff that people just
Like
kind of
closet cosplays. Those
Is
are
that
my
what it
favorite.
Yeah,
That's
I like that a
closet
lot.
Cosplays.
Like a guy that makes Thor's
Yeah.
hammer out of like a milk carton
Yeah.
and a cardboard
or
tube.
things you have. I'm a huge proponent of like repurposing things,
Yeah.
recycling, finding
Oh,
things
yeah.
that work. Now with 3D printing though, anything you need can be 3D printed most of the time, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's going to completely revolutionize cosplay, right?
Yeah,
Because instead of having to go on the internet and buy some expensive piece, I know Star Wars specifically, they have these things called greeblies, which are basically all the little, you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? All the little accoutrements.
Yeah,
Is that the right word for that?
yeah, that works.
We'll go French.
Yeah.
Yeah, like little buttons and little like things that are just sort of like hang
Little
off of like
doodads.
doodads,
Yeah.
doohickeys, gadgets.
Which were very hard to find, and
Yeah.
people had to be creative and figure out how to make them. And now people 3D print pretty much everything.
So is this like something that you basically need to go to art school to get into? Because I know there's that sort of part of it.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could.
You got to do something with that degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
This is what I'm
apply
doing
it.
with mine.
We were talking about costume making.
Yeah.
I think that would help, but you don't have to. Most of the stuff that I've learned and picked up is from friends or on the internet.
So like tutorials and stuff like that.
Yeah.
YouTube's
Oh,
a good
yeah.
help too, right?
YouTube, if there's something out there, someone has probably made it and done a fairly good job, and we'll tell you how to do it, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm consistently fascinated and impressed with the amount of sort of like sculpting that comes involved and painting and scoring and
Yeah.
collecting, putting together. Like it's a ton of creativity. I think
Yeah.
you could go on Amazon and buy a $40 costume, or you could really get
Which
into it.
is totally fine.
Yeah.
If you want
Yeah.
to do that and that makes you happy, high five. Like, I love seeing people just dressed up and having this is amazing. And walking into that convention and you see people in costume and everyone's just so smiley and happy. Like, I feed off that energy. It's really awesome.
I think there's something wonderfully empowering about it too, and sort of being able to walk around and people stopping you, being like, "Hey, I love your costume."
And they're so happy. They're so.
Yeah.
Yesterday, she was April O'Neil, and tell them about that little boy.
Oh, there was this little boy. I felt like a Disney princess. Like I was in character, and I know.
He didn't want to leave.
He cried when he had to
cried.
leave, and
Yeah.
I felt so bad. And he
'Cause
was just showing me all of his stuff, and
Was he a huge
Oh,
Turtles
yeah,
fan?
I'm sure. Turtles fan.
But to
That's
him,
awesome.
she was the real. Like, she
Yeah.
is
like at
April O'Neil.
Disneyland. When
Yeah.
Because I mean, why not? Like
Yeah.
it's a made up character, so why not just make believe that that's a real thing walking
Right.
around the convention center?
Right, and
Yeah.
it's so cute. It was so adorable. We felt really bad. He
He
was
was
crying.
so
as he walked in. I was
excited.
like, oh, I'm so
like, I can't
sorry.
do anything.
She'll be here tomorrow. You can come back.
I did tell him to come back. Yes.
What do you think the most popular costume is going to be this year? Is it Margot Robbie in Suicide Squad?
I was just gonna say, is Harley Quinn?
Oh yeah.
Is not as many Deadpools as I thought.
Yeah.
Deadpool was like hit its peak, and then the movie came out, and then there's still quite a few, but definitely Suicide, Harley for sure.
I think if we had Comic-Con a month after Deadpool came out, there would have
Oh,
been
everyone
thousands
would have
of them.
been. I probably would have been in Deadpool as well.
So what's next for you guys?
Well, here this weekend we're hitting the floor for a couple hours, just walk around, take pictures with
Yeah.
some fans, hanging out. I'm doing a huge scavenger hunt where I'm giving away like $2,500 worth of prizes.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's on. You can check it out, vamphunt.com. So much stuff.
Are you running around in these costumes?
For a little bit.
Little
We're gonna
bit.
do a few hours, but it's like
It's a lot.
it's a lot. But we're gonna try our best. We're gonna stay in it as long as we can until we're ready to fall over.
You guys need to go to one of those like Russian bars where everything's made of ice and just cool down for an hour.
Is there something like that in San Diego?
We'll find one. We'll
We're
look
gonna go
something
find a
up.
Russian ice bar.
Some weird
I
stuff
love
around
those
here.
places. Yeah, just go in there dressed
Sorry,
as Death
Comic
Troopers.
Con. It's really hot. We're going to the ice,
There's probably some Comic-Con themed event happening over
which
there.
would be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If anybody knows, please tweet me.
So what's the first thing someone should do to get started with cosplay? Like what's ground zero for something like that?
I think research a character and make sure that you pick something that you love.
Right.
Because there's a moment in every costume, and I encounter it, I know you encounter it,
Yeah.
where you're making something and you want to murder it and burn it in a fire because you're just over it, you're frustrated. But if it's something that a character that you really have an attachment to, you'll push through that. If not, you're gonna be like, forget this thing, I don't want to do it anymore.
So how do you power through that that I'm going to give up moment? Because it happens almost with every type of art, right? Every artist goes like, I
Yeah.
can't do this anymore.
I think you see, because I've been doing it for so long, I know that the outcome, what it's going to be, and
Right.
I know that feeling, and I'm like, you know what, get over it, just do it. So
It's also worth it because ultimately you're bringing joy to so many people out
exactly,
there.
yeah.
That's so cool. Well, guys, thank you so much. You're going to be walking around the convention, so
Convention, we're heading
if
over
you're
there
watching
right
this,
after.
if you're out there, yeah, go say what's up to them. Say hi. They'll stop. I'm Brian. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to be covering Comic-Con all weekend long right here on IGN, so don't move.